Kyle Whittingham to Michigan? And is he taking BYU staff and Utah players with him? Let's do it. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. Pulled over at a Combo Loves McDonald's in Jasper, Alabama. The rednecks pass by my vehicle and they wonder, what is a microphone? But no one is as committed to covering the Big 12 and its breaking news as Kyle Whittingham to Michigan is nearly a done deal. It looks like we're going to get the 66-year-old to Ann Arbor. First thing to cover here. My dog's in the back of the car. He's also as shocked as I am. I was on this a week and a half ago. The sources that reached out to me very early with this said Kyle Whittingham to Michigan is not just a possibility. It's something that is likely. There were plenty of people who said, clickbait, there's no way, that's not right. He's a Utah guy. He's going to be an assistant coach or an advisor in the NFL. Everything I've heard, Kyle Whittingham wants to coach. And everything I've been hearing from the same sources is that now as he's going to build his staff at Michigan, as they're going to ink the deal, now it could be Monday before things are finalized. As he's going to ink the deal, there is a focus on building a staff of coaches that he knows. That's obvious. But those coaches include Jay Hill, the defensive coordinator at BYU. Yeah. Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator at Utah. Obviously, on the O-line side, Harding will follow him. Freddie with the tight ends. There's a good chance that that is what the staff looks like at Michigan. And you're wondering, Jay Hill? If you're new to the Utah-BYU thing, you're maybe new to the concept that Kyle Whittingham played football, was a linebacker at BYU, and the connection of those two universities runs very deep. There was a possibility, I was told, if Kalani Sitake had taken the job at Penn State, that Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator at Utah, would seriously consider a move to BYU. Kalani Sitake has coached at Utah. These coaches bounce back and forth all the time. Whittingham knows Jay Hill. Whittingham obviously knows Jason Beck. And what is happening right now is a direct product of Utah telling Kyle Whittingham he can't be the head coach anymore. I said this too, and I'm telling you, the same sources that weeks ago, a week and a half ago, said that Kyle Whittingham may very well be at Michigan, those same sources are telling me that Utah was the catalyst for this, that Whittingham went to the donors and said, I want more, I want to stay. They sided instead with Morgan Scalley. He is the head coach, and Whittingham got serious interest from Michigan, and at this point in the race, since Kenny Dillingham is out, he's their right fit. The problem is everyone loses. Everyone loses. Kyle Whittingham may be the only winner in this whole thing. BYU fans. BYU may lose part of its staff. BYU may lose players. Utah fans. You just lost your statue coach, your Hall of Fame coach, because he told you a few years ago he was going to retire, and then he said, I'm not actually going to retire at 65. Give me one more year. Fine, we'll give you another year. After 5 and 7, he goes 10-2, flips it around, but then he says, can you give me a couple more years? They say, nope, you told us one more year. Morgan Scalley's now the guy. And because of that, Whittingham going to Michigan means he may not only poach BYU players and BYU coaches, he's obviously going to poach Utah players that want to stay with Whit, Utah coaches that want to stay with Whit, who aren't as glued to Morgan Scalley, one of those being Jason Beck. Now, I think on the BYU side, what you're looking at is Jay Hill, his health. Is he ready to make another move across the country? Is he ready to give up on BYU? He can't be a head coach because of his health right now, from what I'm told. But could he be a coordinator at a school like Michigan? Possibly. Is Devon Dampier the starting quarterback at Michigan next year over Bryce Underwood? I don't think so. But there's a real chance that he goes in tandem with Underwood next season and is in Ann Arbor under Whittingham and under Beck. He's got gas left in the tank. Here's why where Michigan loses in this, by the way, is their fans are going nuts. They hate this hire. They think it's the worst hire possible, and they are freaking out that Kyle Whittingham may be the next Michigan man. While I think he could win, what if it is a Mike Riley Nebraska situation? Go get the guy who's been for 12 years at Oregon State. He walks into Nebraska, and he sucks. Did Whittingham lose his fastball? I don't think so. But what if Mike Riley 2.0 is on the horizon for another high-profile Big Ten team? Here is what I think we can blame all of this on, and it's the Utah administration. Here's why. Locked on Big 12. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is exactly where I go for all of my best bets during the NFL season, live bets as well. With FanDuel, place bets on the action as it unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can be the next better on the right touchdown scorer, drive results, totals, and more. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you with FanDuel. Today's show is also brought to you by, of course, it's Game Time. Game Time is where I go to buy tickets to every bowl game, whether it's Utah's game against Nebraska or it is the BYU game in the Pop-Tarts Bowl or even Houston and LSU. Nothing like college football season. And with Game Time, I open the app and I see cheap tickets as low as $25 for bowl season. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. It's Game Time. Locked on College with Game Time. Here's why Utah is extremely at fault here. Scott Garrard, who is the voice of Utah State Athletics, tweets, if Kyle Whittingham has gas left in the tank, which apparently he does, he should be the head coach at Utah. End of story. Whatever or whoever made Kyle feel like he was in danger of overstaying his welcome screwed up in a big, big way. If a Hall of Fame coach, if you're a Utah fan excited for Michigan because thinking, wow, this is a great fit for Witt. Wow, Michigan's going to compete. Wow, I can't believe it. He's still got gas in the tank. Why is he not your head coach? Why would you want the unproven defensive coordinator who has not been a head coach? Yes, I've heard the donors like him. Here he's a young, hip guy, new ideas, good defense. But you're going to give up the Hall of Fame coach? The Utah Athletic Department will give up the Hall of Fame coach for this? For a guy who hasn't won a single game yet as a permanent head coach in college football? Why would you do that? Why would you chance this when you know Whittingham can win? He beat Alabama 13-0 season in the Sugar Bowl. Whittingham nearly won the Big 12 this season. Top 3 in the conference. Could have gone to Arlington. Was a player or two away. And you said, we don't want that. We don't want it anymore. We've had enough of it. Time to move on. The time to move on thing in college football doesn't always work out. And I don't know if it's going to work out here. I think Utah, Whittingham just got pushed out from everything I've been told, which what I've been told has been correct to this point. Utah pushed Kyle Whittingham out, and his response to that was, okay, I'll go to Michigan. Who wins and who loses there? The egg is on whose face? He's good enough to be the head coach at one of the top 5 programs in the country all time. But he wasn't good enough to be your head coach? You didn't want him to coach your team? Help me make sense of that, because it doesn't compute in my brain, and someone's going to pay for it. But likely Utah fans are going to have to pay for it. BYU fans now, losing players, losing coaches. The Big 12 losing players in the portal to Michigan. Look what you've done. Look what you've done. There's plenty more on this week. I've got to get out of the Love's parking lot. They're yelling at me. This has been It Always Will Be. Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.